I've known Barbara for over 40 years. We've been married for over 38 years. We met going into a hospital. She was a floor nurse working on the floor at McLeod's. Typical Barbara introduced herself to me on the way in, and we were friends for years, for a long time.
I've actually known Barbara for well over 35 years. Barbara and I started together at Lexington Medical Center when I was a respiratory therapist and she was an RN.
I've known Barbara Wilm for 23 years now. Barbara was one of the first people who took me under her wing in 1999 when I moved here from Columbus, Ohio. And Barbara said, "Come here, kid, I'll show you around," and drove me all over the county, introduced me to so many amazing people, but mostly I walked away going, this woman knows everyone and everything about what happens in this community.
Barbara and I had the opportunity to connect several years ago now when we first got connected with the Lexington Medical Center Foundation, and Barbara was really passionate about finding a way to build a bridge.
Barbara's got a great personality. She's got a love of people. She loves to be around people. She enjoys helping people.
Barbara just wanted to help people live better lives.
She's dynamic. She's a dynamic boss, a dynamic leader, and just a dynamic person. And watching her walk into a room, command a room, but also knowing that there are times where she's willing to sit down. I have a very fond memory of I was stuffing envelopes right when I started, and she stayed until probably 7 p.m. one day to stuff envelopes with me. I looked, I was like, this is the vice president of a large healthcare organization, and she's willing to do that for me. So it just really describes, I think, who she is as a leader and as a person.
Growing up, I understood that my mom was a nurse first and foremost. That's what she would tell people. She would say, I'm an operating room nurse by training.
So my mom, when I first start remembering, I thought she went to board meetings on Thursday nights a lot. And then really in high school into college, I realized that her purpose at the hospital was a lot bigger than I'd ever realized. And I asked her to stop going to meetings in 3rd grade. And I feel guilty now thinking back on it, but the older I get, the more I look back on asking her not to go to meetings anymore and thinking about how much different Lexington County is because she continued on.
Barbara is motivated by her compassion for people, especially the underserved and poor among us. She has a very special place in her heart for the poor.
She sees where there are opportunities to build bridges among people, and I think what guides her so much in that is not only is she such a visionary, that she can really see 5, 10, 25, 100 steps ahead, but also it's her heart that drives her forward.
We worked at a major trauma center, so some of the patients we would get would have no family, they wouldn't have anything. And I can remember several instances where she would take them by the hand, and whenever they come through the OR, and let them know that they were going to be taken care of and that they were in good hands, and it didn't matter who they were. She was so compassionate to every one of them. It was unbelievable. And that's one of the reasons I fell in love with her. And you can ask the people she worked with. She would never, ever, if one group of people needed something, everybody gets it, not just one, everybody. She looked out for everybody all the time.
The memory that sticks to me more often than not, she had a leading role in helping organize our South Carolina Mission Midlands efforts years ago, where we got healthcare providers together for a long weekend, typically, and provided free care throughout the community to anybody who needed it. And Barbara came back and said, we had lines and lines of people needing dental work. We got to do something different next year about how we do this, because we're not meeting their needs for a weekend.
She just made that all come together in a way that it really represented the hospital and her desire to improve things. It really made that click. I don't remember exactly how Mission came together, except somebody said one day, hey, we got all these doctors going to Nicaragua and Northern Africa and all doing these missions projects. We got the same needs right here. Why can't we gather those clinicians and do something for our own community?
But when I think about the role models who I look up to and strive to be like and who have mentored me and guided me through, Barbara's top of that list. Not only because of the influence she's had on our work and building those bridges to make Uplift Lexington County possible, but it's more than that. It's her spirit. It's what she represents. Barbara is a powerhouse of a woman.
One thing that I've taken from watching what my mom was able to accomplish throughout her life is her ability to shatter a bunch of glass ceilings personally in her professional career, and then creating her own platform to then turn around and help out other people shatter their own glass ceilings.
She left the door open for the folks that came after, which is such a positive thing for a leader to do. You know, you don't just make room for yourself, you make room for everybody else to come through too.
Every way that I've been involved with Barbara, she's always been a leader. She's always been dedicated. She's always been compassionate. She's always wanted to make a difference because she had the resources to do that. And that's where she has made her mark in this community.
She was diagnosed 6 years ago, and we sat down and we talked about it. We decided then that we were going to take the treatments and do what we needed to do to continue to live. And that's probably the most humanitarian thing she could have done, to show me, her children, and all her friends, this is how you live when you're hit with stuff like that. As far as humanitarian goes, the whole 40 plus years I've known her, it's just been humanitarian.